Hey guys, Tanner here. Finally, after a long hiatus, we are getting back into these seasonal highlights, and today we are continuing with Season 4, entitled The Tournament of Elements. The invitation begins a little after Season 3 left off. After the death of Zane, only one ninja is still in training, that being Lloyd. The other ninja have given up their old ways, and are now in other lines of work much to Lloyd's dismay. He eventually manages to bring the other ninja together, and they discuss the future of their team, but determine that without Zane, they really can't do much. Suddenly, a group of strange individuals come into the diner, and start stewing up trouble, and they have a scuffle with the ninja. This eventually leads the team outside, where they find an invitation to something called the Tournament of Elements. They are also promised to regain their fallen teammate if they participate. The ninja do need to keep this a secret, but after talking to Lloyd, Garmadon realizes something is up. The team meets at the rendezvous point, and encounter a strange man named Klaus. Garmadon shows up, and they board the ferry. It's here that the ninja learn about the other elemental masters, and Kai has some close interactions with a few of them. Eventually, the ferry arrives at the weird island, where the tournament will be held, and where Zane is being kept prisoner. The episode begins with the ferry finally reaching the island, and the Elemental Masters are being introduced to Master Chen and the Jade Blades, the keys to the next round of the tournament. Each of the ninja get their own individual rooms, and Kai's just so happens to be next to Skylar's, who Kai had previously met on the ferry. The first round of the tournament begins unexpectedly, and each ninja struggle to claim a blade. Eventually, a confrontation begins between Kai and Karloff, and Karloff emerges successful. However, Kai swoops in at the last second and moves on to the next round. Later that night, the ninja meet up and make their way to Chen's ceremonial quarters, and witness what happens when you lose. Chen steals Karloff's powers, and the ninja are spotted. A chase ensues, and the team has to run from Chen's worshippers and a giant snake. They make it back to their room, and they proclaim that they won't give up until they find Zane. This episode actually opens with a vision from Zane. He sees an ice dragon and panics, bringing himself back into reality. He and Pixel are still locked out with no means of escape. Back in the mainland, Nia sets out to search for the ninja, while the ninja themselves are on break in between rounds. The fighters for the next couple of rounds are announced, and the matches soon begin. The match between the masters of speed and gravity ends with speed moving on, nature and mind ends with a mind victory, and Kai wins his match against the master of smoke. After the commotion, Jay and Cole find out that they will be facing off against each other in the next round. Of course, this was done to divide the ninja, and the team warns the other masters of Chen's true intentions. Despite Nero's help, it's no use. The match will proceed as normal, and soon enough it does. Meanwhile, Zane manages to free himself and goes for Pixel, but soon finds her scrapped and barely alive. He saves her consciousness, but is taken out himself soon after. The battle between Jay and Cole is still going on, and it's getting pretty brutal. They realize their own mistakes and team up against Chen's minions. Chen, of course, is upset about this and tries to take them both out, but Cole sacrifices his own place in the tournament in order for Jay to move on. After a quick bout between Skylar and the Master of Sound, Chen informs the fighters of a punishment due to the ninjas teaming up in the previous round. The ninja recognize that the other fighters will soon gang up on them because of this, and Cole is forced into slave labor in Chen's factory. The next round is announced, and the two fighters end up being Lloyd and the Master of Form. The entire fight is a rollerblading competition, and due to the constant harassment by the other fighters and Chen himself, the ninja find it hard to achieve a victory. Nia continues her search with Dareth now joining in on the action. Back in the arena, the scumminess is still strong. Eventually, the fighters decide to team up due to some words of wisdom, and Lloyd ends up winning the race. The fighters announce their newfound pride for each other, and Cole crosses paths with Zane in the prison of Chen's Island. And at this point, Nia and Dareth are en route to the island themselves, and are ready for anything. Back in the factory, Cole is pretty cheery because of his finding of Zane, and expresses his high hopes to Karloff and the others. The rescue team arrives on the island, and Nia goes undercover. Inside, the final 8 fighters are being treated to a banquet, and some shady things are going on inside their newfound alliance. Eventually, Nia shows up and makes her presence known to the ninja, and they also get word that Cole has found Zane. The ninja realize that there's evidently a spy in their alliance. In the factory, Cole manages to break out after stirring some trouble, meets up with Zane, and the two make their own escape. Meanwhile, the alliance meets up in Kai's room to discuss further plans. They are attempting to find the identity of the spy, and Garmadon suggests that they look for a snake tattoo on everyone's back, because everyone who has ever worked for Chen possesses said tattoo. Eventually, only 2 fighters are left. Skylar is mad at Kai because he apparently doesn't trust her, and the Master of Shadow escapes, leaving Jay injured from the entire endeavor. In another part of the island, the rescue team's cover is blown, resulting in a chase and an epic fight. At the end of the episode, it's revealed that Skylar was the spy all along, and is actually the daughter of Chen. The next episode begins with another round of the tournament. The remaining fighters are hovering over the island in a blimp when Chen explains the next round of the tournament: find and capture Nia. Before anyone can comprehend anything, the blimp floors disappear, and the fighters are propelled towards the ground. When the fighters reach the ground, they immediately spread out. Chen also hid quote-unquote gifts across the island for the fighters to use. Back in the factory, Cole and Zane explain their plan for the fighters to escape, and in the jungle, Garmadon shares the history of his involvement in the Serpentine War with Lloyd. Klaus begins to round up and capture the other elemental masters as Chen's plan escalates. Kai meets up with Skylar, and Nia encounters Jay battling with Klaus. After the battle ends, Skylar accidentally reveals herself to be the true spy, and after another brief battle, Chen captures Kai. Nia finds Lloyd frantically telling him that he is the only one left, as Chen locks the other elemental masters away. After their capture, the Elemental Masters have their powers removed by Chen due to Lloyd not showing up to intervene. Skylar requests that Kai not be taken to the factory, and Chen agrees. Lloyd, Nia, and Garmadon plan their assault on the temple, and the fighters reunite with Zane, Cole, and the others in the factory. Kai is spending some quality time with his figurative new father-in-law, and eventually Chen tries to tap into Kai's anger. The rescue squad enters the temple, and they're soon found out. A battle ensues, and Chen manages to get Kai to turn against Lloyd, where Chen overpowers and defeats him. Nia and Garmadon are captured and go after Kai for betraying the Alliance. However, this is all according to plan. The Noodle Factory squad is finalizing their own escape plan, and are soon forced to launch it early. They break into the dungeon keeping Garmadon and Nia, and kill Klaus's pet snake. The ceremony begins where Skylar's powers are taken, and after Lloyd's are removed, Kai's plan springs into action. He gains control over the Staff of Elements, but the power begins to corrupt him. Before Kai can cause any serious damage, the Noodle Squad breaks in and begins the attack. The staff is smashed to pieces, and the ninja reunite as a team fully powered up. Chen and Klaus are forced to retreat, but take Skylar prisoner, as the Elemental Alliance takes control of the island. Now in control of the island, the Alliance makes sure that Chen cannot escape, and the Alliance forms a plan to rescue Skylar and make their way off the island. Chen and Klaus recuperate as they remain in hiding, and realize that Skylar could be key in achieving the ultimate goal, with the Staff of Elements now destroyed. Skylar, however, manages to escape, as Chen's minions begin pursuit. Back at the coast, the ninjas soon begin their search for Skylar, but Zane miscalculates and takes himself out. Soon after, he begins to hallucinate again. The ninja continue their mission, and Garmadon and Klaus begin their own scuffle. Skylar is cornered by her pursuers, but is saved by Kai. They manage to lose the crowd, but are captured in the end. Meanwhile, Klaus opens a portal to the Cursed Realm and tries to trap Garmadon, but the tables turn and Garmadon emerges victorious. Zane still finds it difficult to cope with his visions and his resurrection, but due to Pixel's reassurance, he restores his own confidence. Everyone regroups at the coast, but Garmadon stumbles, indicating that Chen's plan has begun. We soon see his plan carried out as Chen uses his captured daughter to turn himself and his followers into snake people. This causes the captured cultists to convert as well, and soon the Alliance is overwhelmed. Chen and his army make it off the island and make their way towards Ninjago. Recognizing their defeat, the ninja lose hope, but after Zane and Kai show them the way, everyone unlocks their respective elemental dragon, and the Alliance heads forward as one. Now fully united, the team arrives in Ninjago City to find nothing. However, Skylar realizes that she is starting to turn back, indicating that the spell is not as permanent as Chen would hope. The team later arrives in the Samurai X Cave and reunites with Sensei Wu and the others. They determine that in order to defeat Chen's army, they need a little bit of help. They travel to Cryptarian Prison and make contact with Pythor. Interrupting this, trouble emerges as Chen's army breaks in, and a battle ensues. Lloyd tries to get Pythor out of there, as Chen is after him to finalize the spell, and the battle inside the prison escalates. Pythor is eventually kidnapped, and the ninja return to the Samurai X Cave and are briefed on a new mission. Chen is up to something involving noodle trucks, and the ninja need to intervene. The Elemental Masters split up and take out each truck, expecting to have taken out a huge portion of the army. However, it was all a trick. The real army is currently advancing on Jamanakai Village, beginning the Second Serpentine War. Because of their pursuit of the noodle trucks, the Elemental Masters are scattered across the land, and Chen makes contact with the crew at the bounty and divides the team even further. The Masters rendezvous at the Samurai X Cave and discuss their plans moving forward. After uniting the citizens of Ninjago, the Alliance cuts off Chen's army in the Corridor of Elders to begin the final battle. After the battle has gone on for a while, Pythor appears with Klaus's spellbook and informs Lloyd that there's an easy way to defeat the army. They make it to the bounty and they are informed of the plans to open the Cursed Realm. Garmadon volunteers to have himself sacrificed to achieve this, and Lloyd is obviously very upset. He leaves and the emotional flashbacks ensue. The spell carries on as planned, and Wu begins the ritual, but Lloyd soon returns to finish it. Garmadon is taken away, and the real Anaconda generals emerge from the portal. They go on to possess Chen's army, and banishes them to the Cursed Realm. They thank Lloyd and the rest of the Masters for their efforts, and head off on their merry way. The Masters clean up the Corridor of Elders, while the ninja hold a memorial for Garmadon. The episode ends with a ghostly figure appearing from the sky, obviously setting up the next season. So there you have it, guys. Everything that you need to know about Season 4 of Ninjago. If Season 4 is your favorite season, feel free to leave a comment with the hashtag VoteS4 incorporated somehow. And if not, don't worry. Feel free to use one of these other tags. Your votes are very important to the series and will be very helpful for a future video. But besides that, that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up rating. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. It really does mean a lot to me. Don't forget to leave a comment stating what you thought of the video itself or the subject matter. Or if you just had a general comment, that's fine too. Thank you guys so very much for watching. My name is TannerFishies. And with that, I bid you farewell.